Well, good morning. Let me just do the title right off the bat today. 2012, up one day, down the next. Just from personal observation and knowing what 2012 portends, I can say that this year will be one of emotional ups and downs. Today I woke up with the exact opposite feeling compared to yesterday. Yesterday my cup was running over. Today the feeling is more akin to being drained. I suspect this is how it is with many as we go through transformation. As those of you who have been listening for any period of time realize, I've promised to always tell the truth. And for me, the truth is, what are you feeling? What's happening in your world? What's going on with you today? When I worked for Margie many years ago, we used to have at the beginning of every shift what we called a connection, in which we stood in a circle. It was a small company, obviously. We stood in a circle and we would share exactly that. What are you feeling? What's going on in your world? Because these are things that affect our performance on the job as well as in life itself. And if I've noticed anything over the course of my life, I've realized that nothing stays the same, especially feelings, which sometimes can be driven by circumstances or events that or things that we don't even know what it is. It's beneath the level of our conscious awareness. Why, for example, sometimes we may just have an overwhelming feeling of sadness, or sometimes, as yesterday, an overwhelming feeling of joy and bubbling over and cup running over. Now, yesterday, I didn't know what I was going to talk about. All I know is that I felt this exuberance going on inside of me before I even came to the computer. And then I came to the computer and uh, saw that announcement about something extraordinary going to happen, and I thought, "Wow, this is right in line with my feelings." And then as the day went on, I did my video, of course, and as the day went on, someone posted on my wall on Facebook a picture of Julian Assange, the WikiLeaks founder, holding up a newspaper that says 9/11, not an inside job, and the headline is 9/11 truthers annoy me. And I think, my God, Julian, where the heck is your head? How could you look at any of the evidence of 9/11 and not believe that it was an inside job? I mean, the evidence is overwhelming in that direction. I mean, not even close. But then I watched glimpses or read glimpses of what he was talking about in this great big something extraordinary is about to happen, and I thought it was a much ado about nothing, as Shakespeare would have called it. It was not. It was not what I expected. I mean, they're talking about an intelligence gathering company, and let me say that the world's intelligence agencies are anything but intelligent. I mean, when you work for the dark and you're trying to eliminate something, there's no intelligence ever in painting the other side as all one way. Because the only intelligent and wise thing is to recognize that everything exists in everything else. There is no separation. People that take their consciousness from an ideology or a perception of a world at war are going to create a world at war. That's just simply the way it is. And it doesn't matter if the person claims to be on the light or on the dark side. A world at war is a world at war, and it begins with the world within us. It begins with how we see things. Do we see things through the eyes of wholeness, therefore through the eyes of love? Or do we see a battle always raging? Now, I'm going to just make a very brief comment here. I received the first paperwork from the ecclesiastical court yesterday. just as I was ready to leave and deliver my latest filing with the court. I had already had it notarized and had the copies made prior to receiving that, and they asked me to deliver that to the court, which I did. I attached it to my document and to the court document. None of the other documents. I attached what they sent me. I printed it out and I attached the 6 pages. I was disappointed in the quality of the filing that they, from their end, and I'm going to leave it at that. That's perhaps a significant part of why I'm feeling not quite as up, because maybe some don't, but I rate myself as a fairly intelligent person, and I'm certainly one who thinks from a holistic viewpoint. And the last thing I want to be involved in is us against them. Because ultimately, yes, I'm against the fraud and the deception and the limited consciousness on both apparent sides of the coin. I'm not in favor of limited thinking, of closed-heartedness and closed-mindedness. I'm not in favor of that. But as far as the individuals involved, we all have within us all of it. We are holographic representations of the cosmos. We are part of divinity and part of, what would you call it, the opposite of divinity. Actually, divinity has no opposite, because divinity is all and in all. It's all and in all. There is no opposite. Humanity isn't even the opposite of divinity, because humanity is, as I said, holographic in nature. It's the microcosm contains everything that's in the macrocosm, and vice versa. That's the reality of the world. Any other reality is insanity, and it's only going to lead to an insane world, which we've experienced for millennia. Have we not? Have we not experienced this emotional roller coaster ride of having our cups run over one day and having our cups drained the next, as I've experienced? This is the experience of life as a human being. It must therefore be the experience of divinity, being God or a part of God, which we all are. Which we all are. Now, let me say that something disappointed me yesterday. One of the people that contributed, and there were 20-something people altogether, I don't know, 25 maybe or so, that contributed. And somebody was very upset with my video yesterday because I admitted that I helped a couple of people out that I knew were having desperate situations, and I was feeling abundance. I was feeling an overwhelming abundance, and I chose to share some funds with 2 individuals, one of whom said, I'll be able to buy food now, because I know that family is going through a really desperate time. And I provided them money that they'll be able to put food on their table. I didn't know the exact situation, but their response indicated their situation. They were pretty much out of food, and I gave them the opportunity to purchase food. And the other called and just expressed gratitude. They have an overwhelming medical bills that are draining them tremendously. Another, it's just a husband and a wife. But they have tremendous expenses. And I was able to help just a little bit. I was just able to put a little bit into their pot and to help keep them in a more joyful place of knowing that the universe has not deserted them. And I was able to play that role, and it felt really good. And then I had this lady say, you're bait and switch. You say you're going to use the money for one thing, and then you go and you give it away to somebody else. I even offered to refund that person's donation, because it's not my intention ever to bait and switch. I'm trying to show you life as it is, so that you understand that you don't have to put yourself down when you're not always feeling on top of the mountain, when you're feeling down in the valley, when things happen in your world that disappoint you, that it's not what you expected it to be. As in the case with the WikiLeaks news conference. That was not what I expected it to be. I would have much rather expected more things along the line of Benjamin Fulford's post yesterday in the White Hats report, which were much, much more uplifting for me. Much more uplifting because they're along the lines of actually righting some of the wrongs in the world, not putting more BS on top of it as Julian Assange is doing. You know, it makes me wonder if he's conscious. It makes me wonder if he's aware or if he's being manipulated. I don't know the answer. I know that within him is all that is within me. I'm no different than he is. He's no different than I am. And that's true of all of us. We all have all of it inside of us, but we're not all using what's inside of us the same way. I, again, believe that the answer, the solution to all the world's ills is integration of opposites. The marriage of the dark and the light, the marriage of the human and the divine, the marriage of the masculine and the feminine, the marriage of all apparent duality comes together in a beautiful dance of harmony. Ultimately, that's where we're going. That's the energy that will create the new world, the new heaven on earth, if you will. That's what it's going to take. It's not about the constant dueling, but it is about revealing the lies that we've believed. And the big lie, I've said it before, and I will always say it, the big lie that we've believed is separation. We are not separate from any part of the whole. Not from any part of the whole. If you separate yourself from the whole, you can't. You simply can't separate yourself from the whole because you're part of the whole. We all swim in the same sea of consciousness, the same sea of creation, if you will, the same sea of evolution, if you will. We're all swimming in that sea, and it's constant, constant change. It's constant life flowing back and forth like the tide coming in and going out, coming in and going out. And the sun rising and setting and rising and setting and everything in life cycles. Everything cycles. And that's as it should be. It would be boring if it didn't cycle. So what I'm suggesting to you today, the central message of up one day and down the next, is to take it in stride and understand that a greater plan is being worked out. Yes, there are going to be disappointments. Yes, there are going to be days when you don't feel as energetic and you don't feel like you're on top of the mountain. Yes, there will. And it's okay. I like it when I'm on top. It feels wonderful. But I'm not blown away when I have disappointments. I'm not totally blown out of the water. I know that ultimately everything is being revealed this year. No, not everything, but a lot of things that have been hidden for a long time are coming to the surface this year. And that's going to change everything. And people will become more and more holistic in their mental attitudes and approach to life. So that's all I'm going to share with you today. I think I'm drawing this one to a close. I thank you once again for listening. And as I always say, namaste. The light that's in me, I recognize in you and honor it. We are both divine and both human. Thank you.